Hello again, it's me. Again, I'm without my cameraman, so I hope that I'm in frame and that you can see me. We're going to do a really quick meditation today. One that I really like. It's and you guys have requested it before several times. It's watching our thought traffic. So basically, in our brains, we're having thoughts constantly throughout the day. And that could be as simple as, do I go out that door or that door? These socks or that socks? What do I have for dinner? But also, we know that there can be some really challenging thoughts that we have too, things that are really negative, that we can, kind of buy into this constant dialogue in our heads about how we can run ourselves down and make negative statements about ourselves constantly or our situation constantly, especially right now when we're in the middle of a quarantine. It's easy for us to be like, I feel like a failure today, or I feel like I didn't do anything, or when is this all going to be over, and this is the worst that's ever happened, or I'm so worried. So there's a lot of constant thought stream we can get into. Thoughts are natural and normal, and they happen whether we like it or not. But by building our awareness of them, we can keep them from having such a handle on us. So it takes a lot of practice to change thoughts and challenge thoughts, but the first step is to become aware of them, just to notice what they are and notice kind of what's there, instead of like just hearing it automatically going, I'm having a thought right now and it's maybe a negative one, or I'm having a thought right now and that's a cool thought, I like that is positive. So we're going to watch our thought traffic. So the goal is, you're going to imagine that your brain is like a highway, and every thought on that highway is a car. And so you're going to sit on the imaginary side of the road, and every thought that you have during this meditation is like a car that's driving by. The thing that we do when we watch our thought traffic is we don't go chasing down those cars and say, oh, that's an interesting thought, let me go, entertain that for a minute. Or I wonder if, because it's easy for thoughts to grab our attention and us to just run with it. So don't go chase down your cars. The other thing is, if you don't like a thought that you're having, it's also not a good idea to run into the highway and try to stop those cars from happening. That's never a good idea. So instead of trying to stop thoughts from happening or chasing them down, as far as they go down a rabbit hole, we're going to stay on the side of our imaginary road and just watch those thoughts go by like cars. And so you're just going to notice, oh, I'm having a thought right now about that, and you watch it drive by, and then you bring your attention back to your breath. So it's not like we're trying not to think, because thoughts are going to happen. Our brain is very active. But instead of thinking about that thought, you're going to notice you're having a thought and bring your attention back to your breath. So that's where we're going to always anchor ourselves back to. The other thing you can do, you don't have to do this, but I saw this online the other day and thought it was kind of interesting. You can take little tiny objects. I have cotton balls, and every time that you have a thought, the car that goes down your imaginary highway, you can set a cotton ball to the side. Essentially what that is just noticing what's happening. It also gives you another thing to notice instead of the thought. You're like, oh, I'm having a thought, let me move a cotton ball over. The goal is, after lots of practice, because this does take practice, you would be able to then notice that you're having maybe fewer thoughts as you're able to better manage your thought traffic. So before we can get into watching our thought traffic, though, we're going to start with some breath. So go ahead and put on a mindful posture, strong back, soft front. And I want you to take the 3 deepest breaths that you've taken yet today. So we're going to breathe in through our nose and then slowly out through our mouths. Here we go. I want you to keep taking in those slow, deep breaths. You can have your eyes closed, or you can have them gazing downward. I want you to physically feel your chest rising and falling, expanding and contracting with the air. And you should be breathing slower than you would just normally. This is not a normal going about your day breath. This is a sitting, making it longer, making it deeper kind of breath. We're going to enter into us noticing our thought traffic now. So sometimes it's easier to close your eyes so that you're not distracted, but totally cool if you'd rather keep them open. just start to notice now any thought that comes into your head. And again, imagine it as a car and you're just watching it go by. And if you have your little objects, you can move them over. So we're just going to do this for about a minute. Bring your attention back to your breath. If you notice yourself chasing down a thought cloud, bring your attention back to that breath. Just a few more seconds of this. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Go ahead and bring your attention back into total awareness. How was your traffic today? What was the traffic like in your brain? Was it a traffic jam or not much on the road? I know I had quite a few there. It was interesting. I was like taking a few, every thought I had, and then there was a moment where I was like, whoop, whoop, because I had different thoughts. And it's interesting the things that will come up when you kind of let your brain rest. There's some weird things that will come up. Like I thought about a show I was watching on Netflix, and I thought about fish sticks because I don't really want fish sticks. I just thought about fish sticks. So you never know what'll pop up. Sometimes it's totally random, but sometimes it can be some negative stuff, some dark stuff, and that's okay. We're not trying to force ourselves not to think those things. We're just trying to notice that we're having those thoughts. That's the first step. You can do this anytime. You can sit, and when you're laying in the bed at night, it's probably the best time. Instead of scrolling, just like notice what kind of thoughts you're having, because if you're constantly having negative thoughts, that's going to totally affect how your day is going. So the first step is to notice them, because then we can start to separate ourselves from them and then have a better handle on them so they don't take over our life. So hope your thought traffic is pleasant and positive the rest of the day. Thank you for meditating with me.